Yo, what is going on, guys? Rewinds here. So, this is going to be a continuation of my Boruto Manga Chapter 60 spoiler video from the last one that I just did. So, if you guys want to see a quick summary of what's going to happen in the chapter, go check out the last video. This is going to be full in-depth spoilers. It's going to be probably a pretty long video. If I had to just guess off the top of my head, I would assume that it's going to be probably at least 20 minutes. So, in order to prevent it from going way longer than that, I'm going to try to focus more on just reading the spoilers to you rather than giving you my thoughts. But if you guys do prefer a quicker version of what goes on in the chapter without knowing, I guess, in-depth spoilers and dialogue, go check my other video out. But if you do want to see the in-depth spoilers, this will be your video. So first scene is covering pages 1 through 9. We got two scenes actually here. This beginning stuff up here is just stuff about the cover. But on to the first scene. It's called Code Hunters, and it is from pages 2 through 4. So let's jump into it. Chapter opens with Sai, Shikamaru, and Ibiki discussing their findings on the roof of the Hokage office. Shikamaru refers to Code's black-studded belts as Sumeto. Shikamaru says that some sort of marking has been applied to some seemingly random locations. He surmises that it might be a result of Code's unique abilities. Shikamaru says, according to Amado, he's capable of transferring instantly from claw mark to claw mark. You could think of it like the Flying Thunder God. That means he can't use space-time ninjutsu. Moreover, it's possible for him to come and go from them whenever he wants to, as long as he's left behind a claw mark at a location where he's visited before. And so he could use this ability to come and go between the dimension where the GUB resides. So this is huge. This is a crazy ability. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think that's pretty cool that he has that. Definitely makes him a little more of a threat for sure. Sai says, even though I haven't found any of these claw marks within the village, it's been confirmed that there's a total of 4 claw marks located around the outer wall. I'm not sure how long they've been there. Sai continues on to say that they've already started preparations for whenever Code decides to show up. He has 3-man teams assembled in various places for constant vigilance and surveillance. Meanwhile, they'll still actively conduct their manhunt for Code. Shikamaru replies that those 4 tracks could also be a bluff. These might just be decoys to distract them. That's also possible. Shikamaru says because the more personnel that we split up to devote to those claw marks, the more short-handed will be within the village. Ibiki says, I've received numerous reports regarding the discovery of these new claw marks from other villages. Ibiki continues on to say that they haven't ascertained the identity of the person behind it. They haven't been spotted even once. Shikamaru replies that dealing with just one remnant of Kara seems to be more problematic than he expected, despite all 5 villages banding together in an effort to locate Code. Sai states that he managed to capture some outers who had previous dealings with Kara. He tried to extract intel from them, but no avail. All of them seemed to merely be soldiers for Kara. They didn't know anything important about Kara. Shikamaru says, so in the end, it seems as though we have no other choice but to follow up on those claw marks. We don't have any other leads. Sai adds that Code's target is ultimately Naruto, Boruto, and Sasuke anyway, and that he'll continue monitoring Amado and Kawaki. After all, Code is the one who has urgent business to attend to in Konoha. He'll appear as soon as he sees an opportunity to act on. Shikamaru grumbles about how that bastard Code should have just stayed holed up inside, together with the Jubi instead of causing all this. Then we pan out to see Kawaki, who's perched on top of Naruto's head on the Hokage monument. He was watching over the conversation between Sai, Shikamaru, and Ibiki. Kawaki looks over and sees a shinobi watching him from a balcony and another one casually observing him from a tree. He doesn't make any remarks about them. So that is scene 1, guys. First 3 pages. And now this is going to be scene 2. It's titled, Who's That Pokemon? And it it covers pages 5 through 9. Interesting title for the scene. Let's see what it's about. The scene shifts back over to Amado and Sumire at the same lab where we left off from last time. Amado is casually still staring at his monitor and keyboard. Sumire says, could you please explain what you meant about restoring Kawaki-kun's karma? What on earth are you intending to do to him? Amado says, well, it's not like I'm trying to hide it in particular, but it's just a personal matter. It's different when it comes to Kawaki, the boy himself, you know. I have no real intention to talk about it with you since you're not directly involved, but let me assure you, you've got nothing to worry about. I have no intentions of turning on Konoha at all. That is the truth. Sumire glances around. She still seems suspicious. Suddenly, we see a wider view of the room. On the left side of the Amado is a casket, which we can see the bushy silhouette of someone/something inside. Sumire says, what are you working on right now? What's in this container? Amado says, are you going to stay out the way? Kaki-kun? Even though I look like this, I'm quite busy. Sumire says, so you're not going to answer me? Amado takes another puff from his cigarette. Amado says, didn't I just tell you? I have no intentions of turning on Konoha. If anything, I'll be doing the exact opposite. Sumire says, eh? Amado says, I've already spoken to Katasuke-kun about this. As a matter of fact, I'll be providing the technology to the village on the condition that the village will provide me with accommodations. This one ought to become a strong ally for Konoha. Sumire says, an ally for Konoha? She stares into the container again. A light glare is distorting the view of a silhouette that's visible through the window of the pod. So that's going to be it, guys, for these first two scenes covering up to page 9 of the chapter. So it seems like Amado is working on creating a cyborg to help Konoha out, and it seems like we are getting more information about Code through Shikamaru, Sai, and Ibiki. But yeah, let's jump into the next scene. Alright guys, so we got part 3 up now. This is going to be scene 3, and it's going to be from pages 9 through 19. So this is going to be a pretty decent bulk of the chapter. And this scene is going to be about Code and Daemon, as well as Eida and Bug, of course. So the scene switches over to Code, Eida, Bug, Daemon in the Frosty Wonderland again. Daemon is still trying to play horsey ride on Code. Code is trying to support himself by putting his hands on his knees, but he's breaking a sweat. Code says, so how long are you going to be doing this? Daemon says, are you giving up already? Because you're at your limit? You've got no stamina. Code says, no, it's not like that. Hey, Eida, what's this kid up to? He's too much for me to handle. Eida says, hee. I'm totally enjoying this though. Code, relax. I think that you two are going to get along really well. Code says, I'm going to be on good terms with him. Honestly, I'm just getting worried about him. Bug is rounding the corner. He catches Daemon's eye as he tries to walk away. Daemon suddenly leaps over to him. Daemon lands on top of Bug, which slams him into the ground, straddling Bug. Daemon then headbutts Bug straight in the face. Daemon says, where were you trying to sneak off to, you dumbass? Why are you being so cold to me even though it's been a while since we last saw each other? Bug thinking to himself, damn it, this is why I hate him so much. Suddenly, 3 of Code's black studded belts extend across the floor. However, the sections that would have laid over for Daemon are missing. Daemon says, what? On the left side of Code's body, it seems like the missing chunks of the belts have gone over his own cloak instead. Code thinking to himself, sure enough, it got reflected in the blink of an eye, based on that kid's reaction just now. Does it automatically activate regardless of Daemon's own will? Eida observes the scene but doesn't comment on it. Daemon seems even more angry. He's still standing over Bug. Daemon says, yo, Code, what are you up to? Code then slithers a small piece of studded black belt into his right palm. Suddenly, Code's hand comes reaching out of the ground at a corresponding piece near Bug. Daemon is startled. Code says, here's what I can do. I can come and go from claw mark to claw mark whenever I feel like it. I thought it would be faster to just show you rather than telling you. Code's hand grabs onto Bug's right arm. Bug seems to have a nosebleed. Bug then slips into the black studded belt that's on the floor next to him. Code casually starts to pull Bug out of a section of his belt that's located on his cloak. Code says, basically, I'm the only one who can come and go as I please, but it's also possible for me to drag other people into it, one by one, just like this. Daemon has an evil smirk on his face. Bug says, ah, thanks, Code, I owe you one. Code says, there's no need to thank me. I wanted to confirm something for myself, that's all. I was just scoping out his reflection ability. Daemon says, well, that was cool. I liked it. Code says, thanks, I guess. How about you tell me a little bit more about how your ability works? I mean, if you want to. Daemon says, oh, so you're... Ada says, Daemon. Ada says, shh, you shouldn't be so willing to reveal what kind of cards you got in your hands, okay? Code says, well, you don't trust me then. Ada says, didn't I already explain it to you thoroughly? Daemon reflects attacks. That's all you need to understand for now, at least. Code says, you really aren't going to be straightforward with me at all. Ada says, don't be so offended, Code. Didn't we just meet each other? We're going to have to spend more time together. It's too early to show you everything. Code says, reflection and Senraygon. Of course, it's not like I'm saying that this is all that there is to know about you guys. There still might be more to you than that. It seems like you're concealing an ability. Ada says, who knows? Bug is getting sweatier than usual. Daemon says, sorry, Code. I'm cool with it, though. But if Nichan says that I can't tell you, then that's how it is. Maybe next time. So that's going to wrap up scene 3. Seems like Code is trying to figure out everything about these guys, but Ada and Daemon have some secrets up their sleeve, which will probably be introduced sometime in the future. We don't know if it's going to be time after the time skip or if there's going to be something coming up soon, but we'll find out. Let's jump into the next scene. Alright guys, moving on to scene 4 of the chapter. We move over to Kawaki, and it says the scene changes to Kawaki in the middle of an aisle of a store. Kawaki is looking at the onigiri. A random guy taps on his friend's shoulder, saying that he shouldn't be staring at Kawaki. Kawaki gives them some side-eye but doesn't say anything. Kawaki thinks back on what Shikadai said about how normal civilians shouldn't know too much about him, / there's just various rumors flying around. He also has a flashback to when Jigen was picking up his old processes about how Kawaki needed to come back to his senses since he was just being used by Konoha and he doesn't actually belong to the Uzumaki family. The scene shifts over now to Boruto at the Uzumaki residence. He's walking down the stairs with a bottle of boba pills. Boruto says, I've been taking 2 of these per day. It's been a week since I started taking them, but for better or worse, nothing's changed for now. I wonder if these even work. Hinata says, Boruto, has Kawaki come home yet? Boruto says, nah, I haven't seen him around, but I guess he's running late. Hinata says, I wonder what he's up to. He always comes home before dinner. Meanwhile, Kawaki is returned to perching on top of Naruto's head at the Hokage monument. He got some groceries from the store. He's about to start eating, but then Naruto shows up. Naruto says, an onigiri and a bottle of water, eh? That's not going to be your dinner, right? Kachan would have already been done preparing it for us by now, so what are you doing here? Kawaki says, I'm tired of it. It's fine to do this every once in a while, right? Naruto says, you're bad at lying, Tadabayo, because you've never left behind even a single grain of rice. Hokage, I've taken liking to this place. It's out of character for me, but the view from here is the village that you're protecting, and I like watching it over from here. Panels show a bird's eye view of the village. Kawaki says, but somehow it seems like I don't belong anywhere in this village after all. It's only natural to think about. Originally, this was a peaceful place without any issues, but then some foreigner who was full of issues started straying into it. Frankly, I'm just getting carried away with myself. How lame. That's what Jigen would have said, or Ishiki, I mean. It doesn't really matter, but Kawaki's ramble gets cut off. Naruto has used one arm to just swing Kawaki's whole body over his right shoulder. Kawaki doesn't seem happy about the sudden turn of events. Kawaki says, wait a second, hey, what are you freaking doing? Let go of me. Naruto says, seriously, it doesn't really matter, Adebayo. Whatever Jigen said, or Ishiki, we're going home right now, you silly son of mine. Naruto proceeds to just carry off Kawaki on his shoulder, like that all the way home. I think this is gonna make for a pretty funny scene when it comes out, but it'll be pretty interesting to see how they draw this one out. But anyway, guys, moving on to the final couple scenes of the chapter. Alright, guys, so to wrap up the chapter, we got scenes 5 and 6. It's going to be a lot of dialogue here, but let's hop into it. So scene 5 is titled Master Chef Hinata Edition and Say Yes to the Dress. And this will be spanning from pages 28 through 35. So Naruto and Kawaki finally arrive back and take off their shoes. Kawaki is surprised to walk into the dining area to see such a huge feast already set up. Hinata, Boruto, and Himawari greet him. Naruto says, "We're home, Tebayo." Himawari says, "Ah, Kawaki, welcome back." Boruto says, "You're late, you know. What were you up to?" Hinata says, "Welcome home." There's 2 plates of shrimp tempura, a side of chicken carriage, which is fried chicken nuggets, 2 spreads of salmon, and 2 sashimi, potato sticks, and a whole uncarved chicken/turkey. Vase-cone is the centerpiece, flanked on 4 sides with smaller pots of little flowers. Vase-cone appears to be whole again since the flowers are inside. Kawaki says, "What's all this?" Naruto says, "It's been a long time since you first arrived at our home. Since you weren't able to settle down that much, we weren't able to throw you a proper welcoming party." We pan then over to a shot of Vase-cone surrounded by amazing food. Boruto says, "Hurry up and sit down. We've been waiting for you for such a miserably long time. I'm starving." The Uzumaki family happily eats their dinner. Kawaki says, "Well, I went through quite a lot of trouble to fix it. It was such a shame that it was full of cracks. You should have just used the one that I bought and not have to worry about someone like me." Himawari says, "We're using it because we want to. That's because the flower vase became even more precious to me than it was before. It's great." Kawaki says, "You and Boruto are so eccentric, you know." Boruto says, "Hey Kawaki, I thought that I'd give you something precious too, but you've got a foul mouth that pisses me off, so I won't. You gotta stop that." Kawaki says, "Oh, what's up with you? It doesn't matter, just show it to me anyway." Boruto says, "Are you serious? You need to mind your manners when you are asking somebody for something, you idiot. Here." Boruto plops his own old headband on the table. The metal plate with the Konoha symbol has a few minor scratches on it. Kawaki says, "This is something that's precious to you, right? And besides, I'm not officially a shinobi anyway." Boruto says, "Well, you started shinobi training, so you're barely even a shinobi. It doesn't even matter if you're officially a shinobi or not. You don't have to be one in particular if you don't want to. Sarada Mitsuki and I are acknowledging that you're a precious friend to us, so we wanted to do it in this form, so this is what we came up with." Kawaki says, "I can't accept something like this. First off, you won't have one at all, right?" Boruto says, "I mean, I have one from Sasuke. Well, I'm just borrowing it, but anyway, I'll loan this one to you. Whenever you actually become a ninja, you'll be able to get one yourself, right? You can return it back to me whenever that happens." Naruto says, well, Kawaki's stunned, not saying anything. Naruto says, "Is that alright with you? It's a great idea from Boruto." Boruto says, "You're saying way too much." Kawaki is sitting with an awkward expression on his face. Boruto is kind of playfully angry. Hinata's laughing along. Hinata says, "Hey, Kawaki, why don't you try it on?" Arms folded and not amused at all, Kawaki wears it as a forehead protector. Boruto says, "It kinda doesn't suit you at all. I feel kinda bad for you." Kawaki says, "Stop feeling so sorry about it." Hinata says, "I think it looks nice. I don't think it looks that bad." Himawari says, I think so too." Boruto says, "No, you've got to tell him straight up. Doesn't he look so lame no matter how you see him?" Kawaki's playfully angry now too. Kawaki says, "I'm gonna kill you, asshole." Naruto says, "I mean, it definitely doesn't seem like it's too out of place. It only feels like that at the beginning. You'll get used to it soon enough, Tebayo." Kawaki says, "I don't think so. It feels like I'm being entrapped." Kawaki then slides it down so that the headband is now around his neck instead. I'm very interested to see how this actually looks on him. Himawari says, some people wear it in that style too, you know. It might look better on you like this too, Kawaki. Kawaki grabs onto it and stares into the inside of the headband. Boruto says, well, you still need to grow a bit more as a shinobi. Doesn't it look good on you though? Kawaki just stares back at him speechless. Scene 6 is Pillow Talk, which is what's going to wrap up the chapter. It spans from pages 36 to 41. So, not that long of a scene with too much dialogue. Probably a lot of shots, I'm assuming. Like a lot of panels. So we'll see. But it says, scene shifts to Kawaki sitting on the couch in Naruto's home office. Naruto is lounging in his daybed. Kawaki is still doing his awkward knees apart sitting posture. I think this is something OrganicDinosaur just mentioned earlier in the chapter. But yeah, anyway. He's holding Boruto's headband in his hand and staring at the Konoha symbol. Naruto says, Kawaki, this is where you belong. That's what our family seems to think. At least we're fine with you staying forever if you want to. But if you don't think that's what you want to do, then that would probably be due to my own inadequacies at being the Hokage. In that case, I'm sorry. The manhunt for Code has been running into a lot of difficulties. But don't worry about it. I'll do something about it one way or another. So there's no need for you to fret over something like that. But anyway, this is Konoha Village. It's a place to live without worries. Maybe that's a typo. And a peace of mind, even for someone like you, or even anyone else for that matter. That's how everything ought to be. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been any reason for me to have become the Hokage. Meanwhile, Boruto is laying alone in his bed. His right arm is outstretched, with his karma visible. Boruto glances at the nightside table and then at the boba pills. He then looks back at his palm, speechless. Kawaki grips the headband firmly. Kawaki thinks to himself, Konoha Village is where I belong? Kawaki stares at his empty palm. He has a flashback to Amado's last word, offering a way to restore karma to it if he wanted another one. Kawaki thinking to himself, I wasn't kidding. I don't need something like karma. Isn't there something I can do in order to protect Konoha and the Hokage? Kawaki still mumbling over his thoughts as Naruto falls asleep. Side splash text, I guess, of the chapter says, he's finally found a place where he belongs. That's because he wants to protect the ones who have acknowledged him. And that wraps up the chapter. So, my quick thoughts on it is it seems to be another big build-up chapter. I personally like the second half of the content of the chapter more because I like seeing Naruto and Kawaki interactions, and I think it's pretty cool that they also included the rest of the family because you don't really see as much of that in the manga. I know the anime showed it in more detail, but it's nice to be seeing this in the manga too. So, I think they're doing pretty solid with the build-up, but I am hoping, they don't drag the build-up on for too long and that we start getting some stuff happening soon because I know everybody is waiting for the time skip to occur. I've been seeing it everywhere for a while now. But I feel like something's got to happen. Sorry about that. I feel like something's got to happen before we get the time skip. Otherwise, there wouldn't be all this build-up. So that's my thoughts on it for now. I hope it's a solid chapter. It sounds like it's going to be like the previous few months. So we'll see how it is when it actually drops out officially. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, especially if you're a fan of Boruto, the anime, and the manga. I always cover the spoilers for that. I also cover Dragon Ball Super spoilers most of the time. So there's that too if you're interested. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys have a good day or night. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.